What's going on, everyone? So, one of the big questions was, what are they going to do with Trey Jemison or Christian Koloko, right? Were they going to bring them on, right? Last minute type of thing where maybe they waive, an Alex Len or something and then bring in Trey Jemison. Personally, I'd rather have Trey Jemison. No, I just think he's a mountain, right? Like we've seen that guy, just an absolute tank, 6'11", 270. Is he the savior for the Lakers? Like, no, but he's a guy that I do think could really help. Christian Koloko, I like Koloko, but I just think he basically gives you all the same stuff that Jackson Hayes gives you. You could argue he's a better shot blocker, right? Stretch the floor a little better, but he's another 220-pound soaking wet type of guy, right? Like I'd rather get that big physical guy just to have, right? Better to have him and not need him than need him and not have him, right? Lakers are going to rely very heavily on small ball, right? We're probably living or dying on this season based on the small ball. And the numbers have been great and everything looks good. And, I do like the chances of the Lakers winning. But it would be nice to kind of just have that big body that you can throw in there, even as just like a 6-foul guy, right? Even as a guy you're going out there. And I think Trey Jemison would be great at that because, again, he's big, physical, strong. Just like, hey, we need some good, hard playoff fouls. Nothing dirty, nothing crazy, right? But just, hey, get in there, get under someone's skin, pick up a tech, Dwight Howard was that for us in 2020. Now, obviously Trey Jemison's not Dwight Howard, but in the sense of just like, again, kind of that bully, right? That guy that's just like, big, throwing elbows and forearms, and guys are getting upset and frustrated and crying to the refs and doing all those things, and he's clapping, and we've seen Trey Jemison do that. We've seen Jemison do that, right? We've seen him pick up a tech, just kind of letting somebody fall to the ground or whatever, and just like kind of like laughing, like I love it, I love it, I love it. I love it, right? Like I love seeing having a guy like that, right? Just doesn't care. Hey, you want me to be the goon, right? Like I got you. Don't even worry about it, right? I would like to see something like that. But unfortunately, the Lakers they like their chemistry based on what has been said in the reports that have came out, that the Lakers really like their chemistry. They really like their roster. Gonna lean heavily into small ball. Right, so they're going to keep the team as is. Now, that means that Alex Len is your only big-bodied center, right? That means that Alex Len is the only guy that you can now, if needed, throw out there to be a guy. And, look, 7 feet, right, 250 pounds, but he has not been good. He had one good game, but he's had, a handful of just like awful ones. And, even in the Portland game, he got some opportunity and just all clumsy and just not what this team needs, in my opinion, right? I tried to be fair from the beginning, right? He had that terrible debut for us. And I came on. I even made a video about it, talked about it in the post-game stream, right, where it was like, hey, like before we just assume he's trash and, big mistake by the Lakers, and this is the worst guy ever, and just start really, grabbing our pitchforks and get ready to, track him down, right? Like, it's one of those things where I was like, hey, let's be fair. Let's give him a couple games. Let's see how he looks. He hasn't played in a while, right? He's just getting on board. But he's had a couple games since then, and it's been the same, right? So, again, it's always the thing of like, a guy is who he is. And Alex Len to me just seems like he is who he is, right? He's a guy that's past the days of being a quality, just basketball player, at least for this team. Maybe on a team like Indiana where he was originally supposed to go, maybe it'd be better because the pressure isn't there. And there's, you see it all the time, right? Malik Beasley is a great example, right? Look at like ever since before he joined the Lakers, and ever since he left the Lakers, the guy's been one of the best three-point shooters in the league. But when he was on the Lakers, like I could have probably outshot him from three. Right? The guy was like atrocious from three-point range with the Lakers, like unplayably bad. And it was like, man, but you see it all the time. Like guys forget how to shoot or they forget how to play or anything because those LA lights are bright. right? You put on that purple and gold, and all of a sudden you start feeling that pressure really quickly. You start realizing, like, oh, we're not just playing here, right? Like the fans, the media, everyone. We're not playing for conference finals. We're not playing for second rounds. We're not playing like it's championship or bust always, right? Like if you don't win a championship, it is a very disappointing season, right? Like so again, like seeing a guy like Alex Len, it's just I would have rather had Trey Jemison. Not gonna lie, I'd probably rather have Christian Koloko than Alex Len. I know he doesn't give you the size and the physicality that you'd be looking for. I do think he gives you just more than what Alex Len has shown. Now look, maybe it's different. Maybe we never know, right? Because regardless, even if we would have brought in Trey Jemison, he's probably rarely playing, if ever. And if he does, it's probably in spots or, you kind of need a spark. So you're hoping maybe he can kind of, like I said, kind of get guys motivated, right? So you could kind of do the same thing with Alex Len, where it's like, okay, we just throw out a Hail Mary, right? Like, great example is, Lonnie Walker with Darvin Ham in that Warrior series, where it was like, this isn't going well, right? Throw Lonnie Walker out there and let's see. And it paid off, right? Yeah, the Lonnie Walker game. Maybe you get something like that with Alex Len. Because like I said, he did have one good game where he actually looked really good. And it was like, I even talked about it. Again, made a video, talked about it in the post-game stream where it was like, dude, if we just got this Alex Len every night, we might be on to something here. Like, Lakers might be cooking, right? Like, and cooking with fire here, right? And he just followed that up with the next game he played, and it was just like, okay. But if you could get something like that where he comes in, gives you 12 minutes on a random night and grabs 8 boards and gives you 6 points and maybe blocks a shot or two and actually looks like a competent basketball player, like that could go a long way for the Lakers, right? Like, and again, you're not going to be relying on these guys regardless. Like even you bring in a Trey Jemison or you bring in a Christian Koloko, right? Like those guys you're not bringing in to be like, okay, well, hey, we need you guys to play 30 minutes a night. We need you guys to be the Jokic stopper. We need you guys to be this, that, and the other. No, you're looking for them to just kind of come in, play a role, give you just any type of production in the limited minutes that they play, if at all, right? Because, again, chances are they're probably not seeing the basketball court unless, like, you just need somebody. And even then, like, if it's a rebounding thing, we've seen JJ be like, all right, we got to get Hayes back in here and then throw back Hayes back in there, right? So, to me, they'll start Hayes. Hayes will probably play, his 15 minutes or so, 14, 15 minutes, and then the rest will just be primarily small ball, right? They'll probably play a lot of, like, Rui and LeBron and Dorian and, Vando and, Jordan Goodwin and Gabe and all those guys and the various small ball lineups that we've seen out there and then the mid-size lineup where you have all the 6'8", 6'9" guys out there, right? Like, I do think that there are, like, that's probably the approach. And it's fine. As long as guys are hitting shots, team rebounding, working hard, hustling, doing the dirty work, right? Like, if Lakers play the right way with that small ball, then the Lakers can absolutely win. We've seen that version of this team be very good at the game of basketball. Right, when Doe is hitting all these shots and Rui's hitting threes and LeBron, Reeves, and Luka are cooking, and then you throw in Jared Vanderbilt and he's, grabbing 4 offensive boards and creating turnovers and pushing the pace and being in the dunker spot and being a cut man and a roll man and all that. Like, we've seen the versions of this team that's just like, man, they're unstoppable. Like, nobody's beating them, right? Like, and then we've seen the versions of that team where it's just like, they're not hustling. They're not doing the dirty work. They're not chasing down loose balls. They're not, team rebounding, right? They're not boxing out and doing the little things and doing the dirty work, right? So, but to the Lakers' credit, they have done a really good job of playing up to their competition. They've also played down to their competition a lot, but the good thing is when you're in the playoffs, you're not playing, a Chicago, right? You're not playing a Utah. You're playing, top teams like Minnesota. you play like you did in some of those worser team games, you're probably going home pretty quickly, right? So Lakers have to bring their A game. They have to bring their effort, and they have to put it together for a full, game, full season, or full 4 games, or 7 games, or however many the each round goes, right? You can't take possessions of. The team's good, but they're not that good. Not that good to where they can start, let's just take possessions off. Let's just do that. Can't have it. Lakers got to make sure that they're locked in, focused, ready, and handling their business on a regular basis. Trust the small ball. Trust Jackson Hayes in those limited minutes. And, if you need to throw Alex Len in a spot, hopefully he can kind of figure some stuff out, right? Like, I never want to root for success or for disappointment on a player on our team. I only want success for them. Because the better Alex Len is, the better the Lakers are. But let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. As always, this is a discussion. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.